The following will contain spoilers for One Piece. There is no character introduction that I like more than Blackbeard's introduction in Mocktown. There's lots of ways you could introduce an antagonist. The common approach, especially for One Piece, is to immediately establish the antagonist as someone imposing and threatening. But Blackbeard falls into a small group of One Piece introductions which are the opposite of this. Introductions that are meant to mislead the viewer to a character's true nature and threat level. But Blackbeard's has always been the most interesting to me. I mean, this is one of, if not the final antagonist of the story. Yet his introduction is mundane. In the moment, it feels so insignificant. But it's not just that his introduction is different, it's that Blackbeard gets introduced exactly the way he wants to be seen. So let's talk about that. The first thing we need to establish is the setup for the scene. When the Straw Hats arrive in Mocktown, Nami makes Luffy and Zoro promise not to get into any fights, a promise they almost immediately break when some random stranger starts yelling about how strong he is. So we're establishing that Luffy almost breaking his promise is kind of a running gag. Once the characters enter a bar, Luffy almost picks a fight with another random stranger. This is the introduction to Blackbeard, an argument over food. It is literally the punchline of a joke. But let's examine their little argument. At first they have a disagreement about taste, as both of them are unable to agree on things that they like. Afterwards they become competitive over who can order more food, before they finally decide to throw hands. Their opposite tastes foreshadow their opposite values, and their little competition over food is a hilarious micro version of them competing for One Piece. It acts to highlight Blackbeard's important contrast with Luffy while not making him stand out too much. However, there's another trick that's used to hide Blackbeard's presence. That is the introduction of another antagonist, Bellamy. Bellamy is the actual antagonist of the Jaya arc. His assault on Luffy and Zoro establishes him as an actual threat, immediately overshadowing the previous scene. But the real question is, why? Why make Blackbeard's introduction so unimpressive? Blackbeard was originally a member of Whitebeard's crew. Even though he was strong enough to become a commander, as he was offered the position by Whitebeard, he constantly turned it down. This way, he remained a nobody on Whitebeard's crew and never received a bounty. So once he found the fruit he wanted, he killed the crew member that had it and disappeared. Blackbeard wants his presence to be hidden from the rest of the world, so introducing him as a nobody is brilliant. In fact, his introduction also matches his fruit. Darkness doesn't call attention to itself, it is a symbol of things that conceal themselves, reflecting that at this point in the story, he is an unknown threat. But when Blackbeard finally does introduce himself to the world, the fruit he uses is the tremor fruit, something that literally shakes the world. Both fruit reflect his place in the world the moment he obtains them. But the final thing to talk about is his speech on dreams. This is easily the most powerful scene in Blackbeard's introduction. Despite the fact Luffy and Blackbeard are portrayed to be opposites, the one thing they share is a dream, an ambition to achieve great things no matter how many people tell them it is impossible. Having this character give such a powerful speech on Dream shows him to be a man of true conviction, especially since this is right after the supposed strongest pirate on the island just thrashed Luffy and Zoro for that reason. It is the thematic statement of the arc and leaves a powerful impression of the character. There's so much I love about this introduction. It's funny, unique, hides a lot in plain sight, and makes his reveal all the more surprising. It is easily my favorite introduction to any character. With all that being said, thank you for watching, and I will see you in another video.